What's going on, y'all? It's the KJ Nolan here. I had a totally different video schedule for today, but this is just too big of a story for me to just to pass up. So Chance the Rapper and Pat began working together in 2012, around the time that Chance released his 10-day mixtape. Their business relationship was ended in April of 2020 last year. Chance and his family fired Pat and assigned Chance's dad and brother to take over managerial duties. After being fired, Pat filed a lawsuit in November of last year seeking damages of over $3 million based on an oral agreement that they came to in 2012 that said he was entitled to 15% of net profits. And he's also saying that he's owed streaming sales money from 10-day Acid Rap, The Big Day, as well as Live Nation touring proceeds and commissions related to Chance's involvement in the next upcoming season of Rhythm and Flow on Netflix. He's also trying to enforce what he's calling an industry standard sunset clause that entitles him to an additional 3 years of payment even though the relationship has ended. And let's just say I'm familiar with that term as well. Okay. After looking at reports on both lawsuits, it seems that both parties can agree that the relationship was pretty good up until 2019, around the time of Chance's official debut, The Big Day. Pat is alleging that he was fired due to the lackluster fan response from the record. The critical success of the album wasn't what they had anticipated, and Pat himself wasn't even a fan of the album. He's claiming that Chance announced the album in February of 2019 without any prior studio sessions or a consultation between himself and the artist, and he had already scheduled for the project to be released in July of that year. During this time period, it was a short window of time. Chance was planning his own wedding and all of this stuff. Pat didn't feel like they were going to be able to come out with a quality body of work within such a short amount of time. He's claiming that it resulted in Chance having undisciplined studio sessions, and that most of the tracks on that album ended up being freestyle, whereas on the previous projects that him and Chance had worked on, there was a little bit more craft and time put into creating the lyrics. Also resulted in them postponing and canceling the tour that was associated with the project. So of course there was a lot of money that was lost on the table for both parties in that situation as well. Pat said that he advised Chance to step back out of the public eye. Instead of doing performances on Ellen, Good Morning America, and The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, he felt that these appearances would force Chance to address the negative critical response to the album in front of the world. And he felt that would only continue to hurt his brand because nobody even cared for the project to begin with. Chance filed a countersuit this week. It was just announced today. His entire lawsuit is available online if you want to look it up. But in the lawsuit, Chance and his legal team are alleging that Pat the manager is and has always been a leech to the Chicago music community, and that he lucked up in forming a relationship with Chance that made him look more important than he was. They go in depth to say that when Chance met Pat, he was strictly known in the scene as the guy that was driving rappers around, scouting locations to shoot videos and photos, and basically making food runs. After the release of 10-Day, the suit says that Chance's dad, Ken, felt that Pat was being treated unfairly and felt that he could possibly be of value to Chance's movement, to which they hired him to make food runs and take Chance to and from studio sessions. They eventually came to an oral agreement that let Pat manage Chance and said he was eligible to receive 15% of net profits. They went on to have successful releases with Acid Rap, the Apple Music project, Surf, with the Social Experiment. But in Chance's lawsuit, they're claiming that Pat began cutting side deals with people that were interested in doing business with Chance. They're alleging that he would leverage his relationship to Chance by telling potential business partners that they had to pay him additional fees or invest in his personal ventures in order to solidify those deals with Chance. He began launching his own businesses and also began making it a necessity that any equity deals that were offered to Chance, they had to revise those deals in which he would be entitled to equal equity shares. So if a company says, hey Chance, we want you to be the face of our company and we're willing to give you a percentage of ownership in the company, then Pat would say, well, if y'all don't offer me equal shares, it's no deal. That's what they're saying. They're saying that he also sabotaged the opportunity for Chance in numerous endorsements. One that was boldly mentioned in this paperwork is that Chance had the opportunity to become the flagship celebrity face of United Masters. For those that don't know about United Masters, it's a distribution company founded by Steve Stout. And they, you know, purport themselves to be like a one-stop shop for all needs of independent artists. They felt that he would have been the perfect fit. Chance also believed he would have been the perfect fit, but of course, according to the lawsuit, they're saying that Pat basically misrepresented the ramifications of the deal, and he said that it would basically deter him from being the independent artist that we all know him to be. Pat also wanted to sign Chance to his own company, the Hype brand, or the Hate brand. I don't know how you pronounce that. But basically, in this deal that was offered, the company would retain all rights to Chance's name and intellectual property. They would have the final say in all of Chance's business dealings, including any additional partnerships with major labels, although it has been well documented throughout Chance's career that he's been against having partnerships with major labels. As it relates to the album, The Big Day, Chance is alleging that Pat stopped performing his managerial duties during the creation of the project. They say that he stopped being present for recording sessions and that he failed to come up with the marketing plan for the project. They say Pat presented the idea that Chance re-release his former mixtapes on streaming platforms and on vinyl as a way to commence the big day, so that people will be able to have all the music, the new music, and just celebrate, you know, his official first project that he considers his debut album. They trusted that Pat would go on and get proper clearances from all the musicians and features that were on all of the previous projects, and also clear the samples with the rights holders that were used on those songs. They're saying that he did not do that and that he lied and said he did. So they tried to release this music on streaming platforms and also released it for sale on the website chanceraps.com. And they had to remove all of this content because none of the paperwork was completed. So they took in over 20,000 orders for merch, vinyl, that had to be canceled and refunded. And all of the damages that went into this, they're saying it cost Chance in the upwards of $1 million. 3 days after the release of the album, Pat announced his own company being partnered with Warner Music. So in tandem with the fact that fans were now out of money, trying to get their money back, couldn't get the music that they wanted, and now all of a sudden Pat is announcing that there's a company affiliated with Warner Music, people started to believe that Chance was inauthentic, and it just damaged his reputation within the industry, because of course no one had ever seen anyone else that was affiliated with Pat under management for him to have his own company. So of course, if he's announcing a company with Warner, you'd think that Chance would be the first artist, right? So there's a trust issue between Chance and the public. They don't really, they feel like he's turning his back on all his values. There's also a dispute saying that the website chanceraps.com and the Stripe account affiliated with the website has always been in Pat's name and not Chance's. So now they're trying to regain ownership of that property because it wasn't handled correctly in the first place. During the time that they claim Pat stopped showing up and doing his managerial duties, they continued to pay him out his 15%, and they're claiming that there are no additional monies owed to him, and that the lawsuit that Pat filed back in November was strictly basically a smear campaign to discredit Chance's name, make him look bad in the public eye, and basically said that they really had no legal merit to them. It's a big mess, but I would just say let this be a lesson to anyone in the music business. I had to learn it the hard way myself. Be very careful about the people that you align yourself with when you come into this. Be very careful about any paperwork that you're signing. Be very careful when you see a word in paperwork such as sunset clause, because what that does is try to entitle that person to additional money, basically saying you have to continue to pay me even if our working relationship ends. There's a certain time period in which you still have to pay me because I helped you get to this point. I can't go into too much detail about my personal situation, but I just will say I am familiar with these terms, familiar with these types of situations. I was very fortunate in getting out of mine, but y'all got to be real careful about these types of situations. Anything that you can do for yourself, you might as well continue to do it until you absolutely can. All right? Peace.